In the now 4 or 5 day long conversation we've been having about ACDC, this gentleman offers the following commentary. Bon Scott is far superior ACDC. Brian was one album and one song. They suck after. Now listen, the notion of Brian Johnson's better or Bon Scott's better, that's, obviously personal preference. It is what it is. I can't argue either way. But to say that Iron Maiden sucked, or Iron Maiden, I just did a view on Iron Maiden, to say that ACDC sucked after that one album and that one song is, with all due respect, ridiculous. Now, what he's talking about is the fact that Iron Maiden, God damn it, Iron Maiden, ACDC had a slew of great hits and a slew of great albums with Bon Scott leading up to his death in 1980. The last album that Bon Scott made was Highway to Hell. Enter Brian Johnson. And the first album that Brian Johnson sang on was Back in Black. So he's obviously talking about the album Back in Black and the song Back in Black. And that everything after that sucked. I couldn't disagree more. First of all, Back in Black wasn't just one great song on an album. Hell's Bells, Shoot the Thrill, What Do You Do for Money, Giving the Dog a Bone, You Shook Me All Night Long, Have a Drink on Me, Shake a Leg. I mean, the whole album is phenomenal. It's probably their best album of all time. My favorite album is Flick of the Switch, but this is probably their best album of all time. But after Back in Black, they still had great albums. So the last Bon Scott album is Highway to Hell. Then comes Back in Black. Then comes For Those About to Rock, We Salute You. You telling me that those songs on that album sucked? Flick of the Switch sucked. 74 Jailbreak sucked. Fly on the Wall, Who Made Who? These albums sucked? The Razor's Edge sucked? I mean, seriously? I mean, just take a look at For Those About to Rock, We Salute You. For Those About to Rock, We Salute You. I Put the Finger on You. Let's Get It Up. Inject the Venom. I mean, dude, fucking great tunes, man. I mean, if you like the Bon Scott era better, fine, whatever. It is what it is. I think the Bon Scott era was phenomenal. It was all-time classic rock and roll. But to say they sucked after Back in Black is something I just simply cannot agree with. I mean, they continue. Have they gone downhill? I mean, yeah, they've been aging. I mean, the guys are like 110 years old. Their new albums are just kind of like going through the motions at this point in time. But no, they did not suck after Back in Black. And Back in Black, once again, is probably their best album of all time. So their best album of all time happens with Brian Johnson on the vocals. Granted, Bon Scott wrote a significant portion of Back in Black, the album. But Brian Johnson sang on that album, and it's one of their best albums, if not their best album of all time. I can't agree with that statement.